Hello and welcome to another lesson in our VBA programming language, and in this lesson we are going to look at data validation. Okay, basically what we shall be doing in this lesson is we're going to validate our user form that we are going to use to collect our data to our database, all in Excel. We're going to validate the form to accept the inputs we want. Okay, supposing you would want to make some forms or some fields in your forms required, or okay, supposing you don't want your users to skip those forms without submitting those data or without giving you those data, you can validate the form and restrict them from submitting the form if that particular data is not added to or is not entered into the user form. Okay, so that is what we shall be doing. So basically that is that. Like I said, if you haven't watched our previous tutorials, you can just check. We have the links in the video description below. You can just check the link and have access to our previous tutorials from lesson 1 straight to the last lesson. Okay, we also have an assignment at the tail end of this particular lesson, so I advise you to watch this lesson till the end and be able to understand everything and do the assignment just to keep track of your progress and also build your confidence. Okay, so basically that is that. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, don't forget to do that and press the bell icon so that you can receive notifications anytime we upload new tutorials. It's very important. So now let's quickly delve right into these lessons. Thank you. Hello and welcome to another lesson in our VBA training, and in this lesson we are going to look at data validation. So let's dive right into it. Let's just open our folder, then we go for our fifth project. Okay, can then minimize this one. Now what we mean by data validation here is we need to make sure that the information that is required of whoever wants to take in maybe wants to enter any data here, we should make sure that we get accurate data that we want. Okay, so to do that we need to validate the various fields to make sure that the user gives us exactly what we want. That is what will make us or will help us make good use of the data we're going to take from the users. Perfect. So let's just minimize this and then Alt F11 and then to get the code editor open. So this but I think this one seems to be too big, so let me just close it. Or should I have the code editor on bigger than this one? Perfect. Now what is going to happen here is this. The only thing we're going to do is just for us to make sure that just after, whenever the user click on the submit button, you can see that it went ahead and then add certain things here which we don't need. Okay, it's like it seems this one is adding to the external workbook, so we should know of that. Click this and then it disappears. That is in our previous lesson. So what we need to do right now is to make sure that until the user enters the right data here, he or she wouldn't be allowed to move to the next cell or next field to do anything at all. So let's see how we can do that. So don't forget, this is the form, the sheet called form. Okay, so we're going to use the with keyword. So you say with. Why don't you just what's the name, as a comment, a data validation. Okay, so you say with what sheet, which of the sheet are you going to validate this data? Sorry, I want to do that on the sheet called form. Okay, sorry. So we have end with. Perfect. with a sheet form or with a sheet called form, we want to do something. We're going to use if statement here to do that. Okay, you say if range, which of the range are we referring? We're talking of this particular range, and that is the, let's check the name, that is the C name. Okay, if range C name dot value equal to empty string, meaning empty. Okay, then let me have my end if here. Anytime you have if, you should have end if. Okay, sorry, end if. Perfect. Now what I'm saying here is this: if dot range, okay, C name, which is this range, dot value equal to empty string. What I mean is that if the user fails to enter something here, okay, we would want to prompt the user to do something. Okay, maybe the user just opens this, doesn't know what to do, just go ahead and give anything at all, and then go ahead and click on submit. This is what will lead us into getting in, maybe getting the data that we don't want, okay, or that we can't use for anything. Okay, like useless data, let me put it that way. So we need to make sure of that permanently. So we need to prompt the user. Since it's empty, we need to tell the user that please enter client's name, since that range takes client name. So we say what? Message box, sorry, message box. Then we say what? It's going to be a string. So we say please enter client's name. Perfect. That is that. Now with this, if the user fails to enter something here, he'll be prompted. So let's see something. Now let me just go ahead and click on submit. So you see that it's prompting me to what? Enter client name. Okay, but what if okay, it's still, and then the reason why it still opens is this. Now let me just go ahead and then exit SAP. Okay, so the moment this message pops up, we don't want anything at all to happen again. We just want to exit and be alert, waiting for the user to respond to our call, or okay, to our message. Perfect. So to do that, we say what? Exit SAP. Just bring it down here. Say, let me just draw your attention to something again before I move forward. You can see that after this message, okay, just check on something. When I click on OK, it will still open the external workbook where the data is going to be what? Stored. We don't want it that way, like something like this. You see that it's open. We don't want it that way. So we need to exit SAP, like exit from prevent the macro from running further, prevent the other lines of codes below from running. So to do that, we say what? Exit SAP. So with this, if the user fails to enter that and then he or she is prompted with that message, the user clicks OK to wait, or maybe to enter the right data that we want, the macro will not run again. So let's check on something. So click on this. So you see that you can see how the case is turning. It means the macro is still running. Now when you click on OK, you should stop everything. Perfect. So you can see that the external workbook didn't open again because we exit SAP. It means we prevented the macros, the other codes below, from running. That is that. So now what if the user enters something like this? Maybe let's say let me put it this way, say like let's say the user enters something like A, okay, and submit. See that it has submitted just the A alone here, okay, and that is not what we want. So we need to make sure of that. Just A, letter A cannot be someone's name. So what of AB? Can AB also be another someone's name, like maybe two character word, or can it be someone's name? I don't think so, right? So we need to make sure of that. So to do that, we can check on that as well. So what we are going to say is this. Let me put it this way. What we're going to say is this. Let's go this way now. We're going to use another if statement, that is else if statement, okay, to check on that. So what we are going to do right now is we're going to say what? Sorry. Else if what? Length. We're going to use the length function. The length function helps us to check the number of character or characters in a particular range or whatever. Okay, so if the length Then what's the length of this range? Which of the range are we looking at the length of the number of characters? Okay, if the length of this particular range is what? The range. So we need to call the range now. Range is like C name. Okay. Dot value. Okay, so the value there. I'll explain that. Dot value. Okay, so we close this bracket is less than, let's put 2, and we say then we want something to happen. Okay, I mean as the first statement on the line, else if length bracket range, which of the range client name dot value. Okay, let me just put it this way. Else if, it's like this is what's getting wrong there. Perfect. Now this is going to be, it should be combined this way. Else if. Okay, so like else if. Perfect. Now it's not a separate word. That was why I was getting this error. Okay, you can see that's prompting me again. Perfect. Let's make that mistake. Perfect. It should be one word. Else if. Else if what? The length. What I mean by the length is that the number of characters in this particular range, okay, is less than what? 2. It means we need to tell the user that let's say what message? Please, client name should not be less than what? 3 characters. Okay, it shouldn't be less than, because what, at least 3 characters, because you can have somebody's name with what, just 3 characters, like Joe, Joe, right? It can be, that can be somebody's name. Let me put it that way. So but with this 2 letters, but if you still think that the data you are taking, you can have some people like that having just 2 characters, even 1 character as a name, then there's no need to even bring this. But if you also think that no, it's not possible, at least the name should be what? 3 characters and above, then we need to prompt the users with that. So we say what? There should be a message. So you say message box. What is the message? You say please, client name should not be less than 3 characters. You can say that. So say, let me put it, it's going to be a string. So we say please, client name should not be less than what? 3 characters. Okay, perfect. Then from there we need to what? Exit sub again. Okay, exit sub. Perfect. Sorry, my rush and I'm getting it wrong. Perfect. Now let's check on that. So it's like our 2 conditions are not going to help us go ahead and then do whatever we want. Now perfect, let's see what, let's check that. Now first of all, we need to leave it empty and try that and see. So they say what? Please enter client name. Now let's enter to, let's say, 1 character. Please, client name should not be less than what? 3 characters. So let's enter 2 characters line. With the 2 it has taken, right? Okay, we should say should not be less than what? 3 rather. Okay, so that we can say from what? 3 and above, should not be less than, it's less than 3. Let me put it that way, 3. Perfect. So let's put 2 characters now. Okay, perfect. So with this, it will still take care of that. So until the user enters what, maybe like I said, Joe, which means it's someone's name, it should take. So it has taken that, and then it's good to go. So you can see that after that, it went ahead and execute the rest of the macros below. We don't want that. Also, we need to make sure that the user enters transaction date, transaction amount, PS name, and then PS contact. But whichever data you think is not necessary, you can skip this particular validation. Okay, it's not always compulsory. You can skip it if you think the program you are creating doesn't require this. Whether the user enters whatever or not, you still like it that way, fine. You can leave the validation. That is that. But we need to also check on what let's say the other ones too. That is if we want. So why don't we check on the transaction date? We're going to do that again. So we're going to use another if statement. Okay, so we're going to create another one here. Say what? If what? Range. Which of the range? Range T date means transaction date. If range. Sorry. Wait this. If range. Which of the range
T date, meaning transaction date, dot value is equal to empty, meaning the user fails to enter something, and if, let me see, and if, yeah, then we want something to happen. What should happen? We prompt the user again with what? A message box. Let me see, it's going to be a string. So please enter transaction words dates. Perfect. That's that. Then from there we exit app. Don't forget, so it's exit app so that I don't let other macros run below. Okay, so that's that. Now let's check on that and see. Okay, so let's enter Joe. Effect Joe is there. Perfect. So since we are skipping this one, it's prompting us to do what? Enter transaction date. Perfect. Now why don't we? What if maybe the user enters as a single character like 2 as the date? Do we want it that way? No. Okay, so we need to check on that as well. You know, date shouldn't be less than what? Since we need the day, the month, and the year, it shouldn't be. It should be at least, if a day, let's say the day is what, 2 days. Okay, then we have the slash, or maybe the dash. This is another character, so that is 3. And then let me put it this way: 3, and then the year is 4 characters at the back. Okay, so let's say 10. So let's say 11. Let's put it that way. Should be at least 11 or 10 characters. That is where we can get a date. Okay, so maybe to make sure of that permanently, we need to make sure that whatever the user, let's just try something like 12, 11, 22. Let's just count the number of characters. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. At least 10. We should be good to go. That is if the day is what? 2 character day, that is from 10 and above. And then the month 2 is like that. And then the year, which is always 4, or the characters, then I think we should be good to go. And then the slash, they are also characters. They're also taking spaces here, so we should not take note of that. So with this, at least 10. Okay, so let's check on that. So we can just clear this for now, and clear this as well. Okay, now why don't we just copy this? Let's just go and edit it. So say else if. So after checking that the date is entered, we need to see that we've gotten the right thing as the date. Okay, so you just, if so else if length range, it mean we want to count the number of characters in that range. Okay, range t date dot value is less than 10, at least 10. Okay, so it should prompt the user that, then we want to give a message. So message box, so at least. Okay, so what should be the message? To say please enter correct date. Let's put it that way. So whatever message you think you can put there, that is. Then from there we exit SAP. Okay, so say exit SAP. Perfect. So let's run it and see. Let's put something like Joe. Let me put this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as my date. Submit. Oh, it has submitted that. Let me check. There's something wrong with my conditions. So what? If length range, which of the range, that is the date, that value is less than 10. Please, the message box should be what? Please enter correct. This is less than 10, right? Let's put it this way. Perfect. Oh, okay. It's like the initial one. It seems that it has taken the correct date. Okay. Okay. Now, what is happening here is this. This particular range has already been formatted as date. Okay. So initially, when I entered some few numbers, like it's like I entered 4 digits or so, it's converted it to date, and then it's taken. Okay, you can see that they are prompting me to. So whatever I enter here is going to be converted to date at once before even submitting. That was what happened. So now they are prompting me to enter the what's the name? Let me put it this way, the client's name now. So let's just check this once and for all so that we can understand perfectly. What is happening here is you can see that initially when I submitted, let's just confirm something there. We can do that from the external workbook, okay, the database workbook. Let's open it and see. You can see that it submitted the date here like that. That was what happened. The numbers I entered there, it converted it to what? Date. Perfect. Okay, now let's check. So let me just try another thing and see. 1, 2, 3. Let me just click outside and this is going to happen. So you see that it converted it to date. So that is what's going to happen. So with this, I don't think there's even need to even validate this data. But for the sake of some users who might not know what to do, so it's still going to be valid because someone can choose to, let's say, in words, okay, 20. Let's check on that. So you can see, let's submit it and see. Because why? This is not date here, so at least it's telling us. So let's just debug this and see something. Okay, transaction date is equal to what? Dot range t date dot value is equal to what? Now let me just tell you what's happening here. Now check something here. We have already dimensioned that particular range and declare the variable as what? Date. So that is exactly what is happening here. So if you enter something aside date, that is what is going to be the error you're going to encounter. The error you just saw there. So we need to make sure that we enter the right thing. Okay, so the right thing is what? Date. So we enter the date. It should convert this, right? So it's converted date, and then you can then submit it. Please enter correct date. Now let's see. Good. With this, they're still asking us to enter correct date. Why is this happening? This is because this is programming indeed. This is because we said what? Let me come this way. This is it. Else if length of what? Date dot value should be less than 10. We didn't take note that there are some days that are what? Just a single days, like a fifth from first to what? Ninth, and then a month to from what? 1 to what? 9 are single digit. Okay, so we should take note of this. So now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we can change this to what? 8. If it's less than, sorry, just if it is less than 8, that is when we should receive that message. So let's run it and see now. It has taken now perfectly. Good. Let's go back and check on something again. So let me just Rahim, and then let's enter the date like this and see. Perfect. Now let's submit it. It's gone. Now let's check once again. It's like 1, 5. Let's see how it's going to be converted. Still it's taking 15. Okay. 1, 0, 2. Let's put it that way. See what's going to happen. Perfect. So if we should submit it, it should take now. Okay, please enter client's name. Perfect. See that I skipped that and it's prompting me now. So I need to enter like James or something like that. I submit it now. It should go perfect. So it means our data is now validated for these two ranges. That is the client's name and then the client name. So to validate it, we just use if statement to do that. It's very simple. So it's a data validation with sheet. Make sure you refer to the sheet you are talking about here, and then you then bring your condition. If what should happen, what condition should be met before something will happen next. So if range, what of the range, that is C name dot value is equal to this, meaning empty string, meaning empty, there is nothing that is entered. Maybe they didn't enter anything, they need to prompt a 0. Please enter client name because that field takes client name. Then we exit the sub because after that we don't want other macros to run, so we exit sub. That is that. Else if what? If it's just one condition, then you should be good to go from here. But if there is another condition you would want to catch, then you bring another one. Else if there is another one, then you bring else if again. Okay, so don't forget. So if there should be another one again, I'll just copy this, paste it next here, and then edit it again. So that's what I would have done. Perfect. So I think that is that. Then we move to the second range, which is what? The transaction date. Okay, and then we said what? If length. sorry, if range t date of value is equal to empty, first of all we check to make sure that it's not empty. Okay, the user must enter something, but is it anything at all we want? No, we want date. Okay, so we say else if length range of that same date is what, the value is less than 8, meaning it should be more than 8 characters there, maybe from 8 and above. Okay, so that is when you can accept it as what, date. Else we need to prompt the user that please enter correct date. So that is that. Now the last one is what, the amounts here and there. Now with that one, what we need to do is just to make sure that they are not empty. Okay, that is that, to just make sure that they are not empty, simple as that. Let's just check on that. So we say what, so we need to check on this one as well. So it's going to be another if statement here, so let's have this. So you say if what, range, which of the range t amounts sorry, equal to empty string, then and if, okay, let's see, perfect. So we need to prompt the user to enter what, something like this. So say message box, and tell the user please do what, enter what, transaction amount. Okay, amount, perfectly, and then we should exit SAP. Perfect, that is that. So let's check on this. Sorry. Let's audit, let's submit. Okay, please enter transaction amount. So let's enter that. Is okay, so you can see just enter just to, you should take now at least. That is that amount. Perfect. Now move on to the next one, that is payer's name and then a payer's contact. So you can just copy this and then just paste and edit. Perfect. So you just copy from this, Control C to copy. Oh sorry, need to add this. Perfect. Control C to copy this, Control V to paste, Control V to paste. Perfect. So this one can be for P name, that is a payer's name after the amount. So this is a payer's name. So it's a P name. And value go to empty. Say please enter what, payer's name good. And if now if range around also what, payer's contact, P contact is name of the range is equal to empty, please what, enter payer's contact. Perfect. Now let's check on our conditions now and see if they are all met. So let's say okay, first of all let's leave it empty. Okay, we have to enter client's name now. So submit. Oh, transaction date, so we now do that. Let's convert it, submit. Oh, transaction amount, let's check on that. Amount is, let's say 2,000 cities or whatever, 20,000. Let's submit. Oh, payer's name, okay, Kofi. Oh, payer's contact, okay, submit. Perfect. Our data is submitted. So with this, we'll be able to get accurate data we want from our users. So that is it about data validation. So now we've gone far with this. So to practice, is it practice the same makes man perfect, right? Let's save this particular work and then close this and take an assignment. This assignment is very, very important and everybody must make sure that we do it, please. If only we want to understand what we are doing. We need to make sure that we all because in our previous trainings, what happens is people registered, took part in the training, but while we gave assignments, it's just few that attended to that. And in fact, those who attended to it, they benefited because there were some questions they asked me behind the scene, which I responded to. In fact, helped them a lot. Some don't ask questions. That's the problem, please. Let's make sure that we do exactly what we are supposed to do, please. That's very, very important. Let's make sure that we do the assignment. Now, let's close this workbook now. Now, our assignment is we need to create another workbook. Okay, we need to create another workbook here and name it Project 6. You're going to create a form together. I would have asked you to create that form yourself, but let's just do that together here. Then from there, you go and write the codes to take that data yourself. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just go to new. We go to Excel. Then we can call this project 6. Now we'll press the enter key to launch this, and then you can then save it as a macro enable workbook. Save as VBA training folder, macro enabled, and then still maintain the name project 6. Let's close this now. Now we can go ahead and delete this one. The one without the macro enable, let's make sure we delete the comment. Okay, now if we can then have this one. Okay. Now we are going to have two sheets. The first one is called form as usual, where we have our form. And the second one is going to be called whatever name you want to give to it. Database. I give it database where the information will be taken. Okay. Now let's go ahead and check on our database first. The inputs we need to at least take from what our users. Okay, let's check on that first. Now we need to take what first name. Let's do that. So say first name, then we take another one, last name, then we move another one. Let's say okay, should we do it this way? Okay, perfect. Then that is that. First name, last name, then we have date of birth, and then won't it be too much for us? Okay, let's go ahead. First name, last name, date of birth. Okay, and then let's say date of admission. Then we move on to, let's say, class. And then we move on to admission fees or fee, whatever. Then we have the guardian name, and the next one, then we have the address, and the next one we have the contact, and finally the last one we have what other information. If there's any other information, we take other info. Perfect. So let's just format this. Okay, let's just increase this one a bit. First name, last name. This is going to be a date. Okay, so we can format it as short date so that it doesn't just go to general. So it's a short date. And short date. We're going to take date here. Class is okay. Admission fees okay. Guardian name, address, contacts, other info. Okay. Now let's just select this, format it appropriately, and just take this. Sorry, should be this. I need to format this Times New Roman, bold it, and make it grow up a bit. This is okay. So we have our table here. Now the next thing we need to do is to go for our form now. Okay, so we go to form. You're going to design our form. So for us to do that, let's just select this from here to D here. Move to at least 16. This is okay. This is okay. Let's just change this to the light blue. Okay. Oh, this sky is okay, whichever. I think this is okay. Now we need to expand this to have our fields and then our labels. Okay, let me just undo it so that we have equal. Let me just select it after this. To select that, we don't select it like this, please. Just make sure that the cursor turns toward this pointing down arrow, and then you just select this. And from there, if you just drag it based on the width or the size of the cells you want, if you do that, it affects all the four that I just selected. Perfect, like this. I think this is okay. So the top here, we need to have something like student data entry form. Let's just start with that way. It should be in caps. So entry form. Okay. So just merge it and center it, and that's okay. I would want to change the font to Comic Sans. Sorry. I would want to change the font's color to some brighten color here. It'll be ideal. I don't know. So let's make it grow up a bit, and then I think this is okay. Perfect. Or should we just maintain our black? Whatever. Like I said, yes. Good. The next we need to do right now is to take our labels. So to do that, we will be skipping some labels here. So after the first one, skip the two here. So please, let's do this. Let's select this. Press Control on the keyboard. Then you select 4. You select 6, 8, and then 10, and then at least 12. Now with this, you can just make sure that the cursor turns to just flat sign, and you do this. This will reduce this size of all what we just selected. Perfect. So we have this. So we can now have this as a what label. So to here we have first name. Okay. Okay, that's it. First name, and then here we have last name, and here we have date of birth. And then here we have after date of birth we have date of admission. And then here we have what class or form. And then here we should have admission fee. Then here we should have guardian name. And here we have address. Then we have contact. And finally other info. Other info. Perfect. Now and just select this, press and hold Control on the keyboard and select the rest. Let's change the font to Times New Roman. We would want to bold it. We would want to write justify them. Now we need to make them grow up a bit. Sorry for using that word. So increase the font. It's okay, or we should decrease it a bit. It's okay. Please, let's remove the bold. I don't like it. It's not looking nice to me. If you prefer it that way, fine, you're good to go. Now let's go to Slack batteries running low. Let's connect this perfectly. Okay, good. Now let's right click whilst they are still selected. Let's make sure they are still selected, and then right click, go to format cells. We need to give them some borders around them, and we go to borders. Choose a very deep dark blue color here. We go for this type of border, and then we have it this here and here. But with this here, we should have some dotted ones like this. Yes, here. Then we click on OK. Perfect. Should have something like this. Now let's select the area for the fields. That is the where we're going to enter this particular information here. So after selecting the first one, press and hold Control on the keyboard and select the rest. Then we go to color, then we change this to white. Right click, format cells, borders. We need to make sure to take the same color. This, then we take this, that, this, and here we still maintain this perfectly, the dotted ones as well. Perfect. So we are good to go. So our form is just taking its shape. So now we need our button here, the submit button. Just press Ctrl S to save your work. Now let's go to inserts, shapes. Take this shape and then just drag it over here like this. You can move it this way to the center. Okay, so you just choose this. So if you want, right click on it and go to edit text. And you just type submit. Submit alone is enough. You don't have to add anything. Submit. Okay. We need to format this and then times new room. You need to center it and make sure it's set. Good. Perfect. You can reduce it a bit. You can move it this way. Perfect. Like our form has finally taken its shape and it's ready to take user input. Good. So Control S to save your work. So now, if you are done with this, I'm also done with you here. What I want you to do is that go to the back end, Alt F11. The field here is yours. Write macros to take data from here, here, and then store it here for us. Thank you very much for watching. The field is yours. I'll be waiting for the feedback. Please, let's just select this and then center our text. Perfect. Control S to save the work. So I'm leaving it for you now. Although I'll be providing the solution, but I'll be waiting for your work before I go ahead and then provide with the solution. Thank you very much for watching. Till our next lesson, where we're going to provide a solution to this particular assignment. Bye for now.